So I call the member for Maitland.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. As the current New South Wales Chair of the Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians and the Deputy Chair of the Australian region, I rise to speak with joy on International Women's Day. This year's theme is Be Bold for Change, and events around the world in recent times tell us that it is time for women to be very bold for change, and no more so than in the state of New South Wales. The CWP's mission is to increase participation of women in politics, but we also have an important view around ensuring that the priority areas for women are addressed, and these are stopping violence against women, including sexual violence, providing women with opportunities for leadership at all levels of society, and ensuring economic empowerment of women, particularly in education and health. And indeed, last week in the UK, it was humbling for me to hear from women around the world in countries as diverse as Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Samoa, New Zealand, UK and Canada about their experiences as legislators and as women of political power in addressing these issues within their own social, political and cultural context. And I have to say, it was with some shame, I had to say that in New South Wales we still don't protect the right of women to have choice over their own bodies when it comes to reproductive rights. Now, I normally talk about DV and sexual assault in this place. They are the shadow portfolios that I work on, but I want to turn today to one of the most important issues for women, and that is the gender pay gap and wage equity and parity. The economic power of women is at its heart of key concern to everyone in our society. We know that when women are supported to become economically secure, they contribute to the economic development and prosperity of their communities. And even, Mr Deputy Speaker, in the poorest communities on this place and on the earth, where education opportunities for women often work against them getting good jobs, having economic security, let alone empowerment, is a core value of all governments. It's an acknowledgement that women's economic activity is core to ensuring good health, good social outcomes, good education and a good economy for everyone in those societies. And that is why it beggars belief that all the Liberal National Ministers in this place, when asked questions over the last week, have failed to commit to fighting the attacks on penalty rates by the Fair Work Commission. The female Premier, the second female one in this state and the first Liberal one, has actually lost the opportunity here to show leadership on this important issue by failing to make a submission in support of retaining penalty rates for some of the most disadvantaged workers in our state.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
The member for Cootamundra arises on a point of order.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Speaker. Penalty rates are a matter for the Commonwealth Government.
And they can still be
look, we are here recognising International Women's Day, and I take your point, but it's a wide-ranging debate.
We had a Minister for Women in this place today in the State Parliament who told us all about her hard early life, working in a chicken and chip shop and working nights and weekends, but still failed to commit to saving penalty rates for those women who go after us. When I asked that Minister about the action she would take on retail and hospitality workers who are predominantly women who will be impacted by this change, she failed to answer the question. In fact, she wanted to talk about nurses and midwives, so I don't even know if she was listening. Now, I want to talk about this issue. As a woman in this place, we all have a responsibility to stand up for all women. Compare and contrast the passionate speech of the Shadow Minister for Women, the Honourable Sophie Cotzes, today when she's defended the right of workers in all sectors to penalty rates, recognising that it is women who are often at the bottom of the economic tree, who are strongly represented in sectors which will be most impacted by penalty rates. And I ask that the House, that if this Minister will not stand up for the lowest paid workers, the lowest paid women in our state, on the retention of conditions like penalty rates which enable women to provide for their families, is she really fit to be here? She can't hide and say it's a federal issue because she's willing to speak out on issues like marriage equality, which is a federal issue, but she won't talk about penalty rates. So what is the good of her being in this role? The member for Wallsend raised another important issue in this motion on accorded priority today when she spoke of the need of a Minister for Women to advance women's rights. The Minister came into this role articulating her personal views against the women's right to control their own bodies through abortion and termination access. I urge the Minister to stand up for women's rights at work, at home, in achieving economic and social equality, but most importantly, their right to have control of their own bodies. Be bold for change, Minister, but...
Order. Members' time has expired. Members' time has expired.
Member of Women.